Once I realized I could do it, I mean, I figured it was going to take 2 years until I found your program. And that was actually very exciting. If I didn't do it, it wasn't going to get done. As it is right now, I've got tons and tons of people that have just been chomping at the bit for a few months. My name is Phil Lewis. I am 61 years old last month. And I don't have any coding background whatsoever. I've actually avoided that my whole entire life. But I'm a professional musician, retired after 36 years of playing professionally.
What type of instruments have you played?
Bass playing has been mostly, it's what I made my money at. I play just about every other instrument except for fiddle. But my wife plays fiddle, so I don't need
Oh,
to do
there you
it.
go. So you got it caught up. So you've been a
Yeah.
musician like professionally. You said you told me you did some like data modeling and 3D. Was that like what was paying the bills? What was kind of that?
No, I was a professional musician for 36 years full time.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I started doing, getting into other things. I had a YouTube channel, content creator, video editing, which led to graphic design and 3D modeling. And, but that's all been since I retired.
Got you. So you've been kind of the more techie side of music, it sounds like, and you've always been attracted to like the computer and the internet. Is that accurate to say?
Actually, I didn't touch a computer until I was 33 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I basically, the way I work is I imagine something and then I learn how to create it, figure out what skills I'm going to need. And then I just start learning and learning and learning.
You
So
start learning.
yeah.
Learning by building. That's really cool. So yeah, let's talk about Find a Picker. So you've been a musician, so you've been in this field. You don't know how to code, but I guess how'd you come up with this idea for Find a Picker, and what is Find a Picker?
Well, Find a Picker allows band leaders and recording session leaders to find musicians to fill their gigs. This is
Okay.
a common problem. Here in Nashville, we have the honky tonk area, which is called Lower Broadway. And I've worked there. My wife still works there when she's not doing on the road and she's not doing sessions. And one of the biggest problems, it's shift work. So you're playing for 4 hours and one of the musicians is chosen to lead the band. They're
Hmm.
responsible. So a big problem is you've got other musicians who call in and they can't make it because they're sick, they got a better paying gig, or what have you. So the only way to find somebody is you've got to get on your phone and you got to text everybody you know. You ask other people for phone numbers. There is a Facebook group that's got about 3,000 people in it, but you can put a message there, but that means that somebody has to be actually looking at it at that moment.
Got you.
So every time that this comes up, it's a kind of a running joke. There should be an app for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So one day my wife said that, and I thought, well, how hard could that be?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's very hard, but it's a necessary thing, and yeah, it's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to become an industry standard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what was that moment like where you were like, all right, I'm going to go in and build this. I'm going to commit, the next, 12 weeks, 16 weeks of my life to build this. Like, what was that aha moment that you had?
Actually, when I first did that, I figured it was going to take me a couple of years. And the more I started looking into, actually, I didn't know if I could do it at all because my last experience, I had a friend a few years ago who had built an app, and he had to iOS was no problem, but the Android side, he had to configure it for every known phone in existence, and he
Yeah.
had to code it. So I didn't know if I'd be able to do that, but then I discovered no code and got on YouTube and found Flutter Flow and started watching YouTube channels and that which led me to you. I saw one of your videos and so once I realized I could do it, I mean, I figured it was going to take 2 years until I found your program, and that was actually very exciting.
That's awesome. And so had tried to like hire a developer or anything like that before you started, or did you just know you had to build it yourself?
No, I'm a reseller. I don't have $50,000 to spend on an app.
I got you. So
No, if I didn't do it, it wasn't going to get done. Yeah,
I got you. So you just knew you had to take matters into your own hands.
yeah.
Got you. Um, and like found a lot of times like entrepreneurs make this mistake of like building an app before they know somebody wants it. But the cool thing about you and the cool thing about a lot of our builders inside of Dreams and Apps is like they all have this expertise in an industry And we actually try not to work with people who don't have expertise. Like Jason and the enrollments team, whenever they talk to new builders, like they always ask, like, hey, how are you going to get your first users? Because we don't want to invest our time, and we don't want you to invest your valuable time if you have an app that doesn't really have a place to go next, right? So
Right.
you were in the industry. Did you talk to anybody before, embarking on this? Like, did you know that there's a need for it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The minute I decided to do it, I started talking to people. My wife started talking to people. As it is right now, I've got tons and tons of people that have just been chomping at the bit for a few months
Really
for this app. Yeah, yeah. And the general response is that's amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
sick. So what's that look like? So now you have the app launched, and we'll talk about it in a sec. What's next?
Next, I'm gonna keep growing this. I actually have from a couple of people that I've talked to about this app. One of them is not even a musician, a nephew of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have two more apps in the planning. One of them is going to be on the same kind of format as this one, except it's going to be on an industry, so it'll be a business to business, and it's definitely needed from what he was telling me. And if so, that one's gonna make me a lot of money.
I hope all these do, but we still got a lot of work to do on Find a Picker, right? Like I think you said you're
Right.
launching in Nashville. What's that look like?
Okay, so I'm gonna launch in the Lower Broadway area first,
Okay,
and through that I'm going to be getting feedback and scaling it and iterating and figuring out what I need to change of my plan. And then once I've got it nice and solid there, then I'm going to start spreading out to different cities around the country. I've got friends in quite a few different places,
nice.
major cities and stuff.
So
Yeah.
if you're in Nashville and you're a musician, like you definitely want to be downloading Find a Picker because that's where it's going to be popping off first. Um,
Right.
so you said something really interesting, like iterating. I guess like, did you know that was a thing? Can you tell me about like anything that like you learned throughout the process that you didn't know about building an app that's like now obvious to you? Um, does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I learned it's so. I mean, I've been delving into this, putting in 50 hours a week, which isn't necessary, but I have the time to do it.
Yeah,
So a lot of it that seemed kind of new to me then now seems second nature. But I know one thing that I was pleasantly surprised about your program that I didn't realize I needed was a lot of the business stuff, a lot of the marketing stuff, a lot of the setting up licenses and getting certified and that kind of thing that I didn't even think of. I thought I'd just build the app and I throw it out there and that was it.
for sure. I mean, that's what a lot of people think. So I guess like,
Yeah.
what's the real reality of that?
Well, the real reality is I had to get licensed. I had to get a business license
Yeah.
to start off with. It's an actual business that I'm running, and that's something I didn't think of. I didn't think of it as I thought of this like one of my creative things, one of my music videos that I've made.
Mm.
You know, I didn't think of it as this is an actual business. In fact, I had never heard the term founder before I started doing this.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So yeah, I've started other businesses. I've had other businesses. I've been the sole proprietor. Sometimes I got business license. Sometimes I didn't.
For
I
sure.
didn't have to do that. So
Yeah,
uh, so yeah, so doing that, I had to have a plan of how to actually build it, what it's going to look like, and it has changed over the time. In fact, after I launched it for testing, I have completely redone a lot of the app because actually getting into production, I realized, the plan was changing.
for
So,
sure.
so I'm expecting that to happen a lot too.
Nice. Awesome. Let me share this demo that you put together. I'm gonna
Okay.
just play it for the audience. Man, that is so cool. So essentially, like what I just saw was like an Uber type of experience for um, pickers. Like literally, you could just post that I have a gig, and then the nearby pickers get an alert saying, "Hey, there's an incoming gig. You can accept it and join." I know you did a lot of work on push notifications. Um, yeah, like that. That's really cool. Like that was really really cool. I'm like super impressed
Thank
by
you.
it, and I
Thank you.
feel like, man, like if I'm a picker and I'm just hanging out at home and I get a notification, I'm gonna go play in the show tonight. And I'm sure that's like really hard to do right now. Just like you're saying, like probably a lot of that's on group message, right? And like text messages. But
Yep.
even that's still like small, right? Like that doesn't expose you to like other people and other bands, but this can actually like probably attract talent to your band that you never would have met before, right? Is that
Right.
part of it?
And a side benefit is that not only do the band leaders get to find musicians, but this leaves the musicians, which even the band leaders are musicians, available for gigs that they normally wouldn't even know about.
Yeah.
That's something constant. It's like you find out the next day that there was a gig that you could have filled and you didn't know anything about it, and they found somebody who was walking through the door. Or they found somebody, and they may not have even liked it. They would have rather used you.
No, that's absolutely awesome. That's really, really cool. Um, Awesome. So I just downloaded your app. I know you said this is an older version. One question that we get asked a lot from new builders, Phil, that I want to demystify is one, do you own this entire app? Like 100% of it?
Yeah.
Like, so you own all the code, you own the backend, you own the database. There's like
Yep.
nothing that Dreams into Apps owns, Ambitious Labs, or even like Google or Flutterflow. Like all the tools that we teach you are property of you, and like
Yep.
everything is property of you, right?
100%. Yep.
And then another thing that we need to demystify is builders often ask like, can I wake up in the middle of the night and make changes myself? I'm like,
Yeah, I can vouch for that. Yeah.
that is the reason we're
Absolutely.
all here today, right? Like we want
Right.
full control of it. Um,
Yeah, you can do it 24 hours a day. You can do it after you get off of work. You can do it for an hour this day when you have time and 7 hours the next day. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's 24/7.
yeah, that's amazing. And that's why I quit my job to go all in on this, because I was just telling another builder too, Phil. I used to sit there at the office like this, and I would just watch the loading wheel for uploading the app to the store. And sometimes it would take 2 or 3 hours. And Phil, it used to break just at the end of the loading wheel, and you'd have to start all over again. And I was working in sports tech,
No.
right? So like I would have to make sure that the app got into the store, at the right time before the next football game. And I would be in the office some days till like 9, just re-uploading and re-uploading. But then like once I found out about Flutterflow and the no code stack that we use, it's like you just put your API keys in there and you hit upload and boom, it sends it to test flight. And I'm
Yep.
telling you, Phil, that's a game changer, man. Like I know you've seen, your own side of life for over 30 years and like, or yeah, 30 years plus, but like um I've just seen what's happened in the last like 5 years, and it's so groundbreaking that the guys who are new to all this today, they're getting spoiled, and I kind of love it because now it really makes it easy to get in the store. And there's still definitely some difficulties, getting rejected a few times here and there, making sure that you get your listing right. But overall, it's gone a lot easier. How was the process for you, like getting into the store?
Well, for me, from what I understand, I broke all records getting in there. But again, I was spending basically round the clock. The minute that I got rejected, I would change something, I would send it back. So it took me 4 days. And even with doing that, it took me 4 days. And then I still had some other issues that I needed to fix that I knew had passed, but I
Mm.
didn't think would pass when I do the final launch into the marketplace.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did break records. You definitely got in probably the fastest or the second fastest out of everyone in the program. Um, it just goes to show that like follow directions, be coachable. But not just that, you put in a lot of work, right? Like you put in 50 hours a week, probably more. Kamish and the team spoke really highly of you too. A lot of builders don't put in that kind of time, and that's why they don't see an app in the store in 12 weeks or less. But um, yeah, you deserve it and you put in that work. But you also stayed very focused. Like you didn't get spread out. You were like, no, this is the only, feature set I want to build. You built the basic feature set of like putting the set list together, sending the notification, accepting the request. Like you built the bare bones of what needed to be there in order to get those two parties connected. And that's the name of the game. And from here,
Yeah.
you'll let your customers drive the feedback. All right, enough talking. Let me go through into the app and walk me through what essentially I see here.
Okay. Let me put my eyeballs on so I can see.
No worries. I
Okay.
got the
So,
home screen.
yep, home screen. This is what you're first going to see when you open the app for the first time. And um, I've changed that to login. This would take you to the login page. But if you haven't done it at all, then you would do the setup.
Okay.
Put your information in just like any app.
And so this uses Firebase authentication, right? And so,
Right, right. And that's one of those things. I'm spoiled. It was really easy to do, but I understand that that's takes a long time and a lot of work to do if you did it by hand.
oh, for sure. I did something wrong. Oh yeah, I did. How many users do you have now, Phil?
Right now, I just have three of us that are testing it.
Okay.
Next week I've got a band of 5 people that are going to be doing some beta testing and using it in the real world.
That's awesome. I think I might have messed up my sign up process.
I tell you what, if you want to play that video, I can talk you through what's going on.
Yeah, that could work better. I'm gonna try one more time. I know you said you sent another version. Yeah.
Yeah, this was probably one that I had to fix.
No, I feel you. How about I walk through the video? That probably makes more sense.
Okay. Start off with this is the one on the left is the person who's looking for the gig.
Okay.
The other one's going to be the musicians they find. So this is just showing you can cancel a gig. Okay. Then all you do is you set up the information, the venue name, the address, how much it pays. You can choose if it accepts tips or not, and that'll show in there. The date, the time, any details, like if this is 80s country, so that they know what to expect, or if it's a dress, if you're wearing dress black or something like that, especially for an artist gig or a video or something like that. You can choose the instrument you need. You just check it. Here I'm choosing fiddle, and then the type of gig.
Yeah. Talk to me about this. So
Okay, so this is the second screen. This is just basically a copy of what you put in there, so you can check it out. Now that's send it out to everybody who plays that instrument in the group, or
it's gonna send a notification.
combination.
It's gonna send a notification, right, to everybody?
Yep, it's going to send a notification to. Yep, right here they're showing the gig application. Sends a notification to all these people. They get this screen here where they can choose if they're available.
Uh-huh.
Again, it shows the same information of the gig. If they're
Yeah.
available, then that's going to send a notification back to the buyer, and they can look in a list and see who's available. They can choose one, and then they can send them accept them as a gig. They get notified that they got the gig. Everybody else gets notified they didn't get the gig, and that's it.
Boom. Then they
So
get connected and they go play, right? That's cool.
Yeah, instead of juggling on your phone, getting messages and things like that, and worrying about while you're trying to get ready for a gig, you do that. You put your phone away, you get ready for your gig, go about your day, and it lets you know when people are available.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. I think the notifications are something that's very daunting to a lot of people. Like notifications used to be a very hard thing to do, but now they've become a lot easier. But it's still kind of tough.
It is.
I think you've cracked it, and that's going to be a really fun feature. Notifications have the best engagement rate out of all types of communication. It goes push notifications, SMS and messages, SMS and text messages, and then email. So actually, notifications are a very effective way of like talking to people and communicating. One more thing that you did inside the program, which was kind of above and beyond, was you put together your landing page. And you did this without coding too, and I think you have your own like waitlist sign up.
Yes. Yep. I've got right now. I've got 25 people on there.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah. Of course, 2 of them are in Phoenix, and one of them's in Germany. but the rest of them are in the Nashville area. I took I went to all the groups that are musician based in the area, talked to the administrator, make sure that it was cool to post, and then I posted a link to this.
Dang, really cool. And people signed up from that?
Yep, that's the only marketing I've done.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
besides
really
word of mouth.
so you got some validation already, like people want to use it.
And now I've got this video done. I'll post that in there too, and I should be able to get some quite a few more people now
Oh
that they
yeah.
see it while this is actually happening.
No, that's awesome. So scrappy, but like you see it works. It definitely
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
So talk to me about like money, right? Like you have a paywall in here. I know we didn't get to show it, but I know you have a business model. Talk to me about how you're going to make money with the app.
Well, there's two different subscription levels. One of them is just to get in the database, which everybody wants to be in the database to be able to be searched. That's $50 or $25 a year,
Okay.
and then for $10 a month or $100 a year, you can use all the features of the app, so you can search for pickers.
Got you.
Yeah.
And like, I guess like if we were to do some sheet math for a bit. So you said how much? It was 25 for a year to get into the
25 per
database?
year. Yeah. Or $10 a month or $100 a year.
Okay. Or
So at the premium level, you automatically get in the database.
so $100 is like yearly. What's the difference between the $25 a year and the $100 a year?
$25 is just get your name in your information in the database so that people
Okay.
can find you.
Okay. And then the $100 a year is for what?
Is to be able to use the search function.
Find pickers. Got you.
Yeah, find a picker. So you
So I
can
guess
find a
like,
picker, or you can be the picker found.
okay. So this is to be the picker and this
Yeah,
is to find the picker. Oh, I like that strategy. That's cool.
yeah,
Okay. So we got 25 a year and 100 a year.
yeah.
Like, I guess like how many bands do we think there are in the country, performing,
In the
today?
country?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, like I said, just in Nashville, and these are just professional musicians who are actually working on a regular basis. That one Facebook group has 3,000 musicians in it. Now that's all different levels. That's artists and recording, and there may be some writers in there. So if you just take if you take 10% of that a year signing up, and just have, well, let's just go with 1,000, a third of
Yeah.
them
Let's say a
that
third
are
of them,
actually,
right?
yeah, that are actually have gigs and they need to find people. They can also use this if they have upcoming gigs too. If they have upcoming gigs and they need to fill that gig as well.
For sure.
And I guess they really could do it if they just wanted to form a band. It's not really designed for that, but I don't care.
Well, I mean, people will use your app in ways that you never thought. Like that will
Right.
pop up and you're going to see that and you'll be very surprised. But yeah, let's say like
I'm excited.
just Nashville, 900 eligible musicians. I don't know. How many of them would be the picker? How many of them would find the picker?
Probably, let's go with a third of those would probably be the find the pickers.
Okay. So find a picker would be 30% and then be the picker would be 70%. That makes sense to me, right? Like,
Yeah.
more people will want to be part of a band than there's always one band lead and 5 supporters or something like that.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that means we'll do.
And that's also considering they sign up to be a picker, and then all of a sudden they're in a situation that they need a picker, and it's real simple for them to upgrade and start searching.
Yeah. So then if we do 270 times 100 to find a picker, and then 630 times 25 to be the picker, you're looking at an annual recurring revenue of 42,750, just one market, right? And I think that's
right. And if you just take the major music, you got New York City, which is going to be probably 3 or 4 times that. LA, San Diego, New Orleans, Chicago, St. Louis, all over the country. In almost every state, there's a major city. If there's a major city, then there's an entertainment area, and there's musicians playing. And then there's a lot of outlining, and they're not going to use it a whole lot,
Hmm.
but yeah. So, and then that's just America. That's the United States. It's not even Canada, and it's not Europe,
Yeah.
uh, England.
And I mean, I'm not
There's
gonna lie. I think like even the price could be, adjusted long term as you get more and more users. Like $2 a month is nothing to get
right,
back on stage and to get more gigs. You'll make that in one gig.
right,
I mean, you'll make $25 in one gig if the tips are there, right?
right.
So yeah, and I think that's really really promising. Even if you just built a business in Nashville with your network, I know you said you have a ton of network in Nashville. I'm sure you could replace a full time income for sure.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
it's not as easy as we're making it sound, of course. But like, it's definitely doable. It's just a matter of consistency and moving it forward every single day. But
right.
very
Yeah,
cool. That's exciting though. Now you have a product that you can actually go out and sell, and you have validation.
yeah.
Nice, Phil. So talk to me about what's next. You got the app launched. What's next for you?
Well, actually, another surprise. Um, the work doesn't stop after you do that. It's not like a painting.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
can't get on a wall. So I'm going to be working on building systems in it and scaling it. Working on marketing. I plan on starting off with word of mouth and seeing how that works. The next step would be to find YouTubers that because there's a lot of YouTubers that have lessons and talk about instruments and all kinds of different things like that, and start reaching out to them. Being a fellow content provider, I know how to connect with them. So
Yeah, definitely.
so yeah.
Nice,
And
nice,
then I've got to figure out how do I do that in a different country. That's going to be a big challenge.
for
Yeah,
sure. That is the cool thing about software and like digital products, though, is that so turnkey to bring them to other countries. Very easy to just expand, but also a challenge as well because you have to figure out how other countries behave. Sometimes the pricing is different, the behavior is different, timings, all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
right.
very cool.
And I've got to hire some people. When it gets to the point, I'm used to wearing all the hats, but it's not that fun. I don't want this to be um, a lifetime of working 60 hours a week.
For
This
sure.
is supposed to be my retirement. I've got a much younger wife, and I would like to be able to retire soon. Being a musician, I didn't save for retirement, didn't pay a lot into Social Security, so I'm hoping this is. I'd like to have a staff that can call me in the Bahamas and tell me how things are going.
Absolutely. That's what I wish for you too. And I want to be interviewing you again when that's the case. And you're
Yeah,
like, Find a Picker is moving along. That's
yeah,
awesome. No, very cool, Phil. I'm super proud of you. You definitely hustled and got this through. My advice is, yeah, stay disciplined. Understand that, this is the start of another chapter. And yeah, just trust the process. You have the validation. So just trust that there are people out there that want it. And yeah, just keep listening to your customers and do things that don't scale. There's going to be times where a customer calls you and says, hey, I didn't get a notification. Hey, there's a band playing and I want to get in. Can you help me get involved? And you're just going to have to play matchmaker. And that's how the gears will start turning. And I'm really excited to hear from you. And I know you're going to be staying in the Discord. So that's good. Um,
yeah,
I want to hear from you when you're like, yo, we got our first, band together and they showed up and they met up at a place and they played. Like that's going to be the most magical moment for you. And I'm super excited for that.
yeah.
Nice, Phil. I guess like all I'll ask next is like, did you think you could do it yourself? Were you skeptical at first? What was going through your mind? Like, honestly.
I am. I think I'm Superman. That's been a good thing and a challenge for me. So my whole entire life. So no, I never back down from a challenge, no matter how hard it is. A wise man once told me, all you have to do to succeed is to get up one more time than you got knocked down.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I knew I could do it. Um, I didn't know where I could get help, and that's a
Okay.
big thing. You
Got
know,
you.
I did the YouTube boogie and was looking at things, and it's hard to put things in order. That's kind of what drew me to you guys is even if it's just a course of videos on YouTube, um, to have a structure to what you're doing, what's the next video to watch, and not have to keep juggling all this stuff and get confused, and especially in a growing market like no code. Um, so, so yeah, I mean, I have to say your program offers one of the things that I love the most about it is the coaches. I've always believed in having a coach, having somebody who not only has success in what you want to do, but has failures in what you want to do, because you want to learn more. You want to learn more from somebody who has had problems and fixed them than somebody when everything worked out great for them. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's battle scars and experience for sure. I mean, you have a ton of experience in your field, and I'm sure someone 20 years, 30 years behind you would love to learn from your experience. And everyone's got different stories. And so I appreciate that. Who were your coaches that you were working with?
Sandro, Kamish, Andres, Touche.
Oh, you worked with everybody.
I worked with everybody. My actual assigned coaches were Sandro and Kamish
Okay.
and Caleb for
Gotcha.
launch. And I have to say something about that part of it, because throughout the program, I often thought, well, if I hadn't found this program, I would have still put out the app. It would have taken me a million times longer, and it would have been a lot crappier. It wouldn't be as good an app. But I tell you what, the launching program with Caleb, I would have not been able to do this at all. There's just no way getting it
Yeah.
launched that would have, because it's more than just experience telling you what not to do. It's experience helping you understand what's going on.
Yeah. Launching is hard. It's
Yeah.
very hard. Even Caleb's a way better launcher than I am. That's why, we found him, and, we pay him really nicely. And uh, launching is a science, and you got to know how to work the app store really well. That's a science for sure. So I'm glad you got a lot of value out of that. And yeah, Caleb's a beast. He has his
Yeah.
own agency, and he's just launching and using the app store pretty much every day. So I'm glad you had some fun there.
But I
Um,
wasn't stuck with just the coaches that were assigned to me. That's the nice thing, is because you have the office hours and training sessions all
yeah,
throughout the calendar. And so if I have an issue, I don't have to wait till my coach has time for me. I can jump on one of these. And if they aren't able to get to me because they're working with a lot of people, I'll just jump on to the next one. They're all through the back to back, all through the day.
yeah. I
And
mean,
that's just amazing.
that is amazing. When we first started, like, the coaching calendar was not how it is now. I'll just pull it up, but like, yeah, pretty much like any time throughout the workday, like you can jump into an office hours. We just take, a few hours here and there for our lunch breaks, but yeah, the office hours is slammed these days. And I'm really thankful for that. It's all you guys that are, pushing us to be better. It used to not be like that. Like if I were to go back, you know,
I
a
remember when
couple,
I first started, there was like maybe 3 of them a week.
oh yeah.
And
Um,
yeah,
Like, look at this week right here. Like, if I go into, yeah, look at that. Like, this is like January,
that's
right?
crazy.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, as we kind of onboarded more and more builders, and, we had more and more structure, and you guys were continuing to quote, quote, complain and tell us what to do, we got better. And we eat our own dog food in that too. Like, we're coaching you guys on how to build startups and like listen to your customers. And so it's in our DNA to do the same. So, progressively, as I click this, you'll see more and more show up on the calendar, and then now we're here. So
Yeah.
really thankful for that. Um,
I remember watching one of these interviews that you did, and you asked him what kind of suggestions he had, and
yeah.
the only one he had was have more one-on-one time with a coach.
Mm,
And your response makes a lot of sense. That's the number one challenge if you're having any kind of a teaching system at all, is
yeah.
how do I offer? I mean, even the public teaching system, public schools. How do I have individual? And I thought at that point, I was like, yeah, that's a big challenge. I don't see any way that you're going to really be able to accomplish that without going broke and hiring a bunch of coaches. But then you actually started bringing them on, and this calendar thing, the open hours, office hours, is just brilliant because it allows us to be able to have that.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not sure which interview you saw, but yeah, the holy grail of education technology and just education in general is who can provide the best one-on-one hyper personalized support in the most cost-effective way to run a business, right? Um,
right.
we charge, I think, what's very reasonable. Right now, I think the program cost is 4,000 for 12 weeks, and so what I feel is very, very reasonable. Like if we were to offer like one-on-one coaching all the time to every single person, we would quickly go broken out of business.
Right.
But like leveraging group office hours, the content, the AI, the systems, we are trying our best to deliver as much like personalized experience. And like some people like feel that, oh, their office hours, there's going to be 20 or 30 people, but there's really not. Like I think we're averaging around 6 people per session right now. What was your experience in the office hours?
Yeah, that's when it's busy. I mean, I've seen it as much as 8,
Yeah,
um, but and it depends on the issues that the student is having.
right.
But I also have seen them where there was just 2 or 3 of us,
Yeah.
especially like late in the day, and
I
we
mean,
got some time.
Sandro told
So,
us this morning, he's like, I had one person show up to my office hours. So boom, like there's your one-on-one coaching. So yeah, I
right.
mean, we want to get good at it. We're keeping track of the ratio all the time. We wake up every day and have a daily meeting and we're like, hey, Phil's here. Caleb's working with this student. And like, I know everybody by name. I don't work with everybody one-on-one, but like I can tell you everybody by their name and the app that they're working on. Just
Awesome.
because I'm obsessive over over the whole system. So
Well,
it's
you're passionate about it, and it shows. Yeah,
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. We
and
got a
you
lot of
hire
work.
people that are passionate about it as well.
Sorry.
You hire people that are passionate about it as well.
Oh my God. These coaches that we have are so amazing. Like I wake up every day and like I'm just like thrilled that they get excited off of you guys. They come to the table with funny jokes. They come to the table with things they learned. We had a student, Robert, teach his own office hours the other day, and I
Oh
saw a
wow!
message. I saw a message in our internal chat, and it was like, "Hey, heads up, guys! Robert is teaching office hours today at 3." And then I like double took the message, and I'm like, "Wait, did I just hear that a student is teaching office hours?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's way
Wow,
better at animations than all of us, so he's going to teach animations to a group." And we'd love for you to do
awesome.
that too as a senior mentor because y'all are building your own things that are very unique, and you guys are exploring different mechanics and functions that we sometimes just don't get a chance to explore. So
Yeah,
the community is only as strong as like how um, the community is only as strong as like the new, I guess, like trails that you guys blaze through, right? And we want to walk in each other's footsteps at the end of the day.
yeah. That's a nice aspect as well with not only the training sessions online there, but also the Discord and the community that you've built. Is it's not like a class where you speak when you're only spoken to. I have made a lot of friends in that, long life friends,
Have you
that are
really?
other builders. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and we know about each other, and we say hi and stuff like that, and then on Discord as well. But I forgot what I was going to
No, that's
say.
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know that
The community. So
yeah.
there's been a lot of times where people have reached out to me. There a lot of people that are considering the program have reached out to me on
Oh,
Discord.
really?
Yeah, and and I'm able to help them, give them some nuggets of the experience. Not so
Mm,
much. I mean, sometimes it's technical stuff that I've learned, and I can walk them through. Like if the coaches had to go answer the door or something like that, or they had technical
sure.
problems. But mostly it's how to use the program. One of the things I tell them, biggest things, is to get in your coach's pocket. Don't spend a lot of time on a problem. Don't spend days trying to figure out a problem. Reach out to your coach, reach out to somebody, get on Discord and ask a question to the community.
Yeah.
That was, and these are all problems that I had. And I spent quite a few things. Don't get sidetracked on things and spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah,
Stay
you're right.
focused on
Like
your MVP.
you're 100% right. There's a certain way that I've seen the most successful builders use the program. I think that's a really great thing that you brought up. Like you have to you're only going to get out what you put in. If you stay in your coach's pocket, like just like you're in university, right? Like if you're going to your teacher and your professor and you're in their pocket going to office hours, you will be a top performer in the class.
Right.
I think similarly here, there is actually I actually love that you said that. When we come to our meetings like every day, out of 100 students, there are 40 of them out of, sorry, let me bring the numbers down. Out of 10 students, there's like 4 of them who we hear about every single day. A couple others will like trickle in and out, and then those are the builders who fall behind. But if you're staying consistent, even a couple times a week, like we see that's when builders are most successful. And
And
then yeah,
and
go ahead.
I'm kind of pig-headed, which again is a good thing sometimes. It helps me through these kind of things. But I had an idea, and I actually had designs when I came here. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and if I wasn't coachable, then I mean, the coaches weren't going to force me to do what they suggested. They'll make suggestions, and then I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
But I on the first or the second coaching sessions I had, and it was with Sandro, I was talking about, well, I'm going to have to search for the all the pickers and then make a list of them, and then the people go through all the lists, and we'll have to limit it to maybe 20 people. And he said, well, why don't you just let the system do it? It can do the searching for you, and they don't have to sit there and go through that. And that's genius because the app, they're just trading the phone on text to go through the app and try to
Yeah.
find people. So, I mean, that right there was a game changer. And I've had quite a few of those moments as well, where they made the suggestions. Well, I know you're wanting to do this, but let's try it this way. And it worked out beautifully because they've got the experience. So,
Yeah. Um, but at the end of the day, it's you being coachable. Like we want what's best for everyone. Sometimes we have builders who just straight up deny our feedback, and it's okay. Like that's fine. We're here to be a sounding board, but at the end of the day, you have to apply the feedback. You have to chisel down, this big hairy idea and really chisel it into a small solution to a small problem. And then from there, these beautiful doors unlock of, getting your hands in the users or getting your product in the user's hands, getting the
yeah,
feedback, and then iterating. So yeah,
yeah,
Phil, awesome, man. I'm super excited to be in your corner. I know you're in the Discord, so please stay in touch. And yeah, just really thankful for you and good luck on your journey.
absolutely. Thank you, Lee.
Dope.